Hello students, welcome to online biology class. Today we are going to cover day 8 of chapter 2. Every day you would be attending the online class and doing the homework for that day. Make sure that you are with your textbook and notebook all the times when you are attending the online class. For any queries, we will be having a synchronized session where you can clarify your doubts and interact. So children, in the last class, we have completed till cellular respiration, and we were being given with a home assignment. So I hope you have done with that, right? I have given you the home assignment to write down about the differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration, and to write down the fate of glucose in presence and in absence of oxygen in the form of flowchart. So finally, what we have done with breathing, and we have done with the respiration, and we have seen that. So during the process of respiration, the nutrients are being broken down, and energy is being released, or energy is being produced. Right? So we have seen there are the 5 major events which are going to take place during respiration. The first event is breathing. The second event is gases exchange at lung level. The third event is gases transport by blood. The fourth event is gases exchange at tissue level. And the fifth event is cellular respiration. And children, in the last class, we have seen the fate of glucose depends upon the presence of oxygen or absence of oxygen. If oxygen is being present, glucose is being finally converted to carbon dioxide, water, and energy is being produced. And so we have seen if oxygen is being absent, or if the concentration of oxygen is very low, then so glucose is being converted to pyruvic acid, of course, and this pyruvic acid is further converted to lactic acid, or else it is being converted to alcohol depending upon the organism and the enzymes available. Right? So now we have even discussed that energy is also being produced, but the energy which is being produced is very little, and I have given you a statement that 1/10 of the energy is produced during anaerobic respiration when compared to the aerobic respiration. Right? So the same way, now today's our topic is, can energy be released without oxygen? That means, so we are understanding that we are speaking about anaerobic respiration. Yeah, of course, you may say the answer that yes, energy is being released during anaerobic respiration. That means what, without oxygen. But the energy what is liberated is very little. This is what we have discussed. So you may answer that. Now the main aim and objective of today's class is to understand how this energy is being released and how it is useful to human beings. How this anaerobic respiration is being useful to human beings. We are going to discuss in today's class. Right? So I hope you have been seeing some of the street dogs. They run very fast, and after running, suddenly they start panting. Yes, I hope you know the panting. The dogs, they open their mouth wide and they bring out their tongue out. They protrude their tongue out and they start taking quick breath. Yes. Now, what is the reason for this? I hope you have observed any of the instrument or any of the machinery, engine, anything. So after continuous work, you can realize that is being heated up. Yes. The same way, when you started doing your work, energy is being produced, and certainly your body temperature may be slightly raised. And to get back into the normal level, so during that particular time, you require large amount of oxygen. Now the same thing, what this dog is doing by panting, so it is trying to gain more and more oxygen so that it can calm down. Yes, the same thing. So that means you are very clear that oxygen is required. Yes, and there is certain relationship between oxygen and energy. And we have discussed that, so in presence of oxygen, large amount of energy is being produced. Now, suppose instead of dog, let's consider, so you yourself, you are taking a race, right? So that means what you are taking a running race, you require large amount of energy. Now, when you require large amount of energy, that means what? Definitely, what your answer, obviously, you will say that large oxygen is required. Now, if you require large oxygen, do you stand and do you take more strokes to get inhale more amount of oxygen before the race starts? Do you do that? No. If you do that, you will be getting tired very easily, and definitely you will lose your race. See, right? So, otherwise, you don't pant, right? You don't take more oxygen before you start the race, right? Then how this is being possible? So to get continuous energy supplied during this race, so how it is being supplied now, let us try to understand here. Right? So gradually the people who are, I hope you have observed most of the athletes, right? So they start running a race, right? So they don't take any strokes, they don't pant before the race is going to be started. Right? Generally, what we know that, so glucose is being supplied by blood, glucose is being supplied to blood, muscular cells. Now, in presence of oxygen, this glucose is being produced and broken down into carbon dioxide, water, and energy is being liberated. And this energy is being stored in the form of ATP molecules. Right? What did I say you? So blood vessels, they supply glucose to the muscular cells. This is the muscle cell. Now in the muscle cell, glucose is being oxidized or broken down to carbon dioxide, water, and energy is being released, and this energy is being stored in the form of ATP. And during the you are performing your race within very short time, within the fraction of seconds, whatever the ATP molecules are being stored in your muscle cells, they are completely broken down into ADP and inorganic phosphate. Right? Within very few fraction of seconds itself, complete ATP molecules are being broken down to ADP and inorganic phosphate. Then how? So you may get tired and you may lose the race, right? Within few fractions of seconds itself, you are not going to stop or you are not going to complete your race, right? It takes some minutes, right? If suppose if it is 100 yards, 100 meters race or 500 meters race, it takes some time. Until that time, continuously your muscle should be supplied with energy. But now what I have told you, so glucose is completely broken down and the energy is being stored in the form of ATP, and within the first few fraction of seconds itself, ATP molecules are being completed, they are being exhausted. Now how the muscle is going to be carrying its work now? That is without oxygen. The human muscle cells immediately they switch on to one more process which is called as anaerobic respiration, or otherwise we call this process as anaerobiasis. Now how this process is going to take place in anaerobic respiration or anaerobiasis? Let us see. Scientists, what they have done, they have started to observe, they have started to collect the blood sample of the people who are continuously doing strenuous exercise. They have asked some of the people to do some of the strenuous exercise, vigorous exercise on a treadmill or bicycle, and there itself they started collecting the blood sample for each and every minute. So like that, so they plotted a graph, they plotted time on the x-axis and then started plotting what it is called as concentration of lactic acid which is being accumulated in the muscle cells on the y-axis. From where did lactic acid has come? I have told you that, so muscle is switching into anaerobic respiration. In the absence of oxygen, right? In the absence of oxygen, glucose is being converted to lactic acid. And this lactic acid, it will start accumulating in the muscle cells. After a particular level, this lactic acid will start supplying into the blood vessels. And they started observing the concentration of lactic acid. The concentration of lactic acid reaches maximum within the few fractions of seconds. So few minutes. Within few minutes, what happens? Lactic acid level is going to be increased. Then after that, they have seen that slowly lactic acid level is going to come down, and slowly it is going to come down into the normal position. Now, what is happening meanwhile in the this lactic acid? So they started studying. Mainly, the works of a scientist Corey is being denominated on the bone. Right? So Corey has done most of his experiment on this. You can't see any of the athlete. Meanwhile, he doesn't get shortage of energy. He don't go and he don't have a boost, and he drink and he don't come back once again into his race. It is not like boxing, athlete, right? That means what, continuously running race is going to be there, and his muscle should be continuous supply of energy. That means what? Continuous energy should be there. But if glucose and oxygen is going to be present, so within very short span of time, complete ADP glucose is being oxidized, and complete ADP molecules are being converted to ADP, and he will be exhausted very shortly, and he is going to lose the race. So he will, as far as possible, he will take very little amount of oxygen, and during this, glucose is going to be converted to lactic acid. And during this, very short amount of energy is being produced, and this lactic acid start accumulating, and after a certain time, that is going to be supplied to the blood vessels. I have told you, after a certain time, its concentration in the blood is being decreased. Now, what happens here? The lactic acid is once again entering into the liver. In the liver, lactic acid will be converted to glucose, and seeing glucose is repeatedly supplied to the muscle cells. So that means what? Glucose is not completely broken down here, right? So little bit every time when it is converting into lactic acid, little bit amount of energy is being produced, and there is continuous supply of energy so that the person can do strenuous exercise. Right? So after the muscular effort, you can look after lactic acid is being accumulated. When lactic acid is being accumulated, he feels pain. Right? So due to shortage of oxygen, so that particular phenomenon we call it as oxygen debt. Due to this oxygen debt, so he feels pain within his muscles, and that is called as muscle fatigue. What do we call it as? Muscle fatigue. Okay. So now, in order to overcome this muscle fatigue, so he start taking the oxygen once again. So once again, as he is going to take the oxygen, so lactic acid is being very slowly. Lactic acid levels are going to come down, and he will come to the normal position. So this is how lactic acid is helping in supplying continuous energy, and how the person athletes, they are going to hold their breath rate, and how they are going to what it is called as win the race. So therefore, what we can say, yes, energy can be released without oxygen, and what we can say under oxygen debt condition. So you can look after the athletes, after completion of their race, they start panting, and due to this panting, what is happening? They start getting oxygen more and more, and due to this oxygen getting more and more, so what is happening? Completely lactic acid is once again being converted to glucose. So this is how, what it is called as anaerobic respiration is helping as in continuous supply of energy in human beings, right? So children, so this is about today's class, and today's your home assignment is what is oxygen debt, right? you need to write about the definition, or you need to write about the oxygen depth. And I am going to give you 2 minutes of time to copy this into your notebooks. Thank you and have a nice day.